Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Music. Today, we're joined by two amazing guests who have helped shape some of the most iconic sounds and moments in all-star cheerleading. First, we have the creative mastermind behind Cheer Music Pro, Patrick Avard, and joining him today is the owner of Top Gun Savannah and head coach of Legends, Adrian Butler, who's bringing a brand new energy and legacy this season to the whole entire cheer community. Adrian, this season marks such a big, new, and exciting chapter for you, from moving as a coach at Top Gun Orlando to building something completely new, owning Top Gun Savannah, which is so exciting for you. How do you feel that the music reflects that shift and kind of the story that you're creating with this gym and this new team?
For many years, I always just had my teams that carried this sound and this energy and this vibe. And it's been truly incredible to bring that entire way of thinking and the way that we do cheerleading to a program wide standard now. With Revelation and 24K for many years, we always captured not just what we were doing, but how we were doing it and how we made people feel while doing those things. And now to just bring that to a wider scale has been so exciting. And, working with Patrick every year, we just want to one up it every single time and capture those emotions and what we've been through and what we've gone through to get to these moments. And every single year, I think we just somehow top it.
What were kind of some of the early conversations that you had with Patrick when you guys were kind of shaping the mix? Did you share any references, maybe emotions that you were sure positive you wanted in this year's music?
That's exactly how we start this every single time. It's just sharing more of my story, less than the actual cheerleading, just how I got there, what was I feeling when I got there, what do I hope to feel in the future, and just capturing all those different emotions while we're building the music to it.
Last year, and there's a pyramid song that was "We Are Legends." Was this kind of an intentional tease to this new team?
I think it was definitely an inspiration behind it. I wouldn't say at that current moment I had it all figured out. There were so many different things going through my head. I knew what I wanted to do with the division and having it again in Savannah, but I hadn't really locked in on a name yet. And I just felt like I wanted something that was eternal. It could live forever. And I think once you pass through the program and you go through that team, you become a legend. And I just wanted something that meant a lot to the kids. And it wasn't just a team name, it's something that carried a bigger meaning. And I think that we just captured that in that moment.
And like we've talked about, there's such a storytelling element with this mix, which I think is so different and cool. Was it kind of hard to balance this emotional side of storytelling? And then obviously you have the high energy, iconic moments that fans are always listening for and waiting for. Was that kind of hard for you guys to balance it out, or did it just come naturally?
I think what Adrian does a really great job of articulating and communicating what he wants his building sections to be about, and we sort of always start there. Those moments are really important, and the songs really bring the emotion to the routine that he wants. From working together for several years, like I know who his favorite vocalists are, and I know his style, and he's very particular about like having there be a certain progression musically where the songs really lift and continue to build. So whenever we go to write, we always make sure that we can include that. We started with ideas, and this year, with him choosing the team name Legends, which he did go through a lot of different ideas and kind of ran them by me, and that's the one that he landed on. He asked my opinion, and I told him, but ultimately it was his decision. But I thought he made a great choice. I thought it was something. Legends is something that can live forever, like he said. And I think in doing that. With this being the first year, we wanted to use that phrase "Legends never die" in a very, very impactful moment, because it's a very widely known, commonly used phrase, in sports and movies and all kinds of stuff. So we decided to kind of start there, and then the idea for the pyramid song, "The Eternal Love," was also his idea. He was like, "I think we need to write a song about eternal love," and we tried to use words like like eternal and immortal and live forever and that kind of stuff, because it really kind of helps you know tell the audience what a legend is. So that's where we started, and then we brought in stuff like Saga, which is SAGA, which is Savannah, Georgia, and then we brought in the area code 912, and we brought in the 1234, which Adrian's always had in his music. We wanted to incorporate bits and pieces of things that are have always been in Adrian's mixes, his team's mixes, but do them in a Savannah, Georgia type way. And I think it was really clever to use a version of the Top Gun cheer, because with this being their first year, we wanted to make sure that it was tied to the national brand as well. I think we talked about all of that, and this is kind of what we landed on.
Do you think the music helps the athletes connect with the story that you're trying to portray this year?
I definitely think so. I think Patrick does a great job of including not only the things that I like, but the things that the kids like as well, and the things that he envisions. So everyone likes to say that the coaches have so much input, which we do, but I also love the creative mastermind that Patrick is, and the way that he can take my words and the way that I feel about things, and the kids, their little things that they might say at practice, and it might be a one liner or like something really short, and then he can draw out this thought, and it becomes so clear as to what they're thinking. And when they hear it, I think it becomes personal to them. And it's not just listening to a track of cheer music for 2 minutes and 30 seconds that just has a lot going on. This is customized, this is personal. This brings through all their team moments, all of our struggles, all of our triumphs. And I think Patrick is the best at doing that. He can pull any version of a story and make it come to life. So, yes, I think our athletes connect with the music, so it makes it easier for them to do their performances.
I think my answer to that question is I hope so. I hope that they connect with it and they're inspired by it. I I take the ideas that Adrian and the coaches have put in the control room and that we've had conversations about. When I say control room, that's like our new level portal, and they can put all of their notes and ideas and thoughts in there. But Adrian and I talk a good bit about the music before it ever gets created, and we talked about words like immortal and love and family and blessing and history and soul and eternal and things that also we use some of those words in Revelation, and they tie into like what a legend is too. So we've sort of like made this like jump into being legends, but also like there's some familiarity about it, but then there's also something really new about it because it's a new chapter. So I think that was the tricky part, was to go a different direction but not go so far out in left field that it didn't feel familiar, because I think legends are going to be the Savannah version of what Revelation was. Especially with Adrian, being the leader of the team.
Yeah, totally agree with that. And I think people are really, really excited to see that too this year. When you finally heard the mix for the first time, was there any specific part that made you think like this is it, this is exactly what I wanted, or maybe be like this is the part that's gonna go viral this year? What is that part in this music?
The day that we get our mix is honestly better than Christmas Day for me. I sit around all day and try to fill my time with what to do, because I just know that it's going to take all day for me to like finally have that moment. And Patrick will tell you, like, I will text him and I'm just like, hey, how's it going? And then he's like, I'm working. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna, it's like, I'm gonna disappear now. See you later. And then randomly, like later in the evening, I'll get the, okay, I'm almost done. And then I just like, okay, I have to move. I have to go like get coffee. I have to go do something. And I have to be alone when this happens. Like it's a whole thing for me. I have to be by myself. I have to have my headphones in and I just have to be able to walk and like take it all in because it's not just cheerleading music. It's for us it is a story, it is a pathway, it is what makes everything come together. And I we spend so much time on it because truthfully if we don't get it right, then I don't think that we get to portray the routine the way that we want to. So it's a lot of emotions those days, and I think this was by far my favorite one to receive because I think it just encompasses the brand. It encompasses what I do, and why I do this, and the journey that it took to get here, and what our plans are to do with this team. So, I mean, I cried like a baby. I literally sat and walked down the street and was just bawling. I probably looked insane, but it was okay. I didn't care. Um, and I think I just texted Patrick and I was just like, you did it. This is amazing. From start to finish, there was not one thing that I wanted to change. There wasn't one edit that was like, okay, well, maybe this could be that. Like, it just all made sense and brought through the feeling that I wanted. When certain things came, I knew exactly what I wanted to feel during those sections. And I had chill bumps. I was like emotional and it was absolutely perfect. And I just thank God it was a practice day because I couldn't have sat on that for 2 days and had to wait for them to hear it. And they felt the same way. The kids, we all went outside. We listened to it. Kids were crying. Kids that were with me for multiple years on Revelation and then now are on this journey with me here. They felt those same emotions that I did. And I mean, on the other end of the spectrum of the way that things ended at the World Championship last year and starting this new journey, I think that it brought back the love for the sport that they might have lost by that moment. So it did everything that it needed to do, and it was exactly what I wanted it to be.
And Adrian, number one, is really hard to surprise. Um, Adrian's like the kid at Christmas who opens the packages when his mom's not looking. He wants to know like everything that's going to be in the music before I actually make the music. So I have to like pretend and like, oh well, I don't know yet, even though I do, so that I can surprise him and that he has like he's very hard to surprise because he wants to know everything. So I try to hold some stuff back and not tell him so that there's some like secrets in there. But I just really appreciate Adrian's words. There have been other mixes where he's like, I'm not feeling this or I'm not feeling that. So for me, it was very rewarding for him to hear it the first few times and go, man, this is it. So that's what I'm always going for. It doesn't always work that way, even though I'm giving it my best. Sometimes things don't hit the way I think they're going to hit. So I don't know, I was just really happy. I was happy for him. Adrian's such a great friend and great person, and I want to help him be successful at Savannah. And so we're going to keep this momentum rolling together.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. If there's you could pick one section of the music, what do you think would be your favorite line or song?
I mean, well, so the building sections are amazing. I think that gonna I think that they're iconic. To be honest, I think that they're gonna be around for a long time, and people are gonna be listening to them and enjoying them. But I really love the line, your mama gave birth to a child, my mama gave birth to a legend. I mean, to me, that one is like,
That is iconic.
When I
We
heard that, I was
actually
like,
we actually have a parent shirt coming out soon, that the moms are going to have I gave birth to a legend on the back of theirs, and then we're going to do a fan shirt that has the whole voiceover on it. So we're going to do some branding with that. So that
and,
was a good
yeah,
one.
you definitely should.
and I did not tell Adrian about that one. He did not know
No,
about it until he heard
that
about
was one of the surprises.
it. Yeah, that was definitely one of the surprises.
How did you
I,
even come up with that?
It was in a writing session. I was with my vocal and songwriter and creative director Amori Jones, and we were writing together. And I don't even remember how it came up, but we came up with it together. And I remember when we said it, we were like, "Oh my God, that's amazing!" And so then we like record it into our voice memo and type it out and everything. So yeah, it just I don't know. I don't remember whether he came up with it, whether I came up with it. It was just that's why I like to write in groups, because like we bounce ideas off of one another. And if something doesn't hit, where both of us aren't feeling it, we're like, well, let's try it. Let's see if there's another line. And we just kind of wrap things back and forth until we're both like really happy with the way they turn out. The other cool thing I'll say, and I hinted on this a little bit earlier, but like I think I think we got just the right amount of like familiarity in there. Like we put like keeping it revving in there, and we put the choir in there. There's a couple of bells, church bells in there, which we had in the Revelation mix. It's not quite as like present, but it's like there, to sort of bridge that gap. And we talk about the story of like hopping state lines and crossing the bridge to champions, and like all that is like telling the story of like moving from Florida to Georgia and that sort of a thing. So I think we did a really creative and clever job of sort of making that move with Adrian and with the team, and helping him start that journey. And yeah, I think that's why the music works, right? And also it's to pay tribute to like how successful the Orlando Gym and Revelation has been, over the years, right? Like it's meant in a very positive and tasteful way, where we're paying tribute to the history that happened there, and the legacy that was there. And now this journey is continuing.
I kind of want to go back to the legends never die part because, like you said, it's just such a prominent, I guess, saying in the sports world. I personally know it from The Sandlot, but I'm sure everyone has their own kind of thing. Could you kind of like maybe walk me through that process where you guys were like, it just like clicked? We're like, oh yeah, we're definitely gonna use that, and that's gonna be our motto.
I think for me, it just kind of came with everyone trying to correlate the two things to each other. So as last season was ending and my new chapter was starting, I think everyone had an expectation or a thought of what was going to be or what it wasn't going to be or how things were going to play on either side. And I think that the one thing that we always do well, no matter what the name is like I said, the feeling and the energy that is provided from the cheerleading itself. So I just wanted to also bring across that you don't ever die. Like legends don't die. It doesn't matter what name you have behind it. It doesn't matter where you are. If that's what you're doing it for and you're doing it for the right reasons, then there's eternal in that name to be said. Like so for me it was just like it doesn't ever end. Like legends will never die, like no matter where we are. So that's what I wanted to bring through.
Kind of looking ahead for future years to come, how do you think that this music is setting the tone of what Legends will be long term and even Top Gun Savannah?
Well, for me, I think that's hard to answer truthfully, only because I think each season writes our story, and that's what provides our mix for the next season. I couldn't tell you any thoughts about next season's mix. I know that there's a certain cadence to the mix that I always enjoy, like Patrick said, but I think we try to bring through what happened in years past or what things are being added to our gym and the way that things are going here and whatever battles and whatever we are facing, we like to bring those emotions through because then, like I said, it becomes personal. And that's what this should be. And the vibe and the energy in this facility is now gym wide. This is not just pertaining to a team or two teams. This is now 25 teams of that same powerful energy. So I think that each year we're just going to keep trying to elevate that excitement and bringing through the gym wide emotion of what we do. And, for here, we do cheerleading out of the love for the sport and love for the program and love for each other. So we're just going to keep building off of that.
I've obviously been working with Adrian for a really long time, and he's been successful everywhere he's been. And I think his energy and love for his teams and the sport of cheerleading is infectious. And I think his teams take on his personality. So that's a tribute to him. And I think to answer your question about what the future holds, I think the story's just getting started and just being written. So I'm excited to watch the journey, and obviously I'm going to be following along to get my creative juices flowing on what we can talk about in future mixes. I do want to bring up one other point that I forgot to bring up. So when I was making this mix and I was looking for inspiration, I thought of the Will Smith movie, I Am Legend, and there's a quote in there where it says, if you're out there, I want you to know." And he says, "You're watching a legend." So that's where the idea for that voiceover came from, and I just thought it was really really cool because, like, maybe people don't even know that Adrian's moved, or that the coach of Revelation is now in Savannah, that sort of thing. So it's like, hey, if anybody's out there, I just want you to know you're watching a legend, And I thought that was like such a appropriate voiceover to put in, especially in year one. So that was another like creative, clever thing that we put into the mix, and I forgot about it when you asked me that earlier. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what Adrian and his team build there in Savannah. I know they're going to be successful. Again, Adrian's great at what he does, and he always brings the energy to his teams, and I think his teams respond to his leadership.
And Adrian, what can fans expect this season? I feel like everyone's just patiently waiting for you guys to step out on the mat for the first time. So maybe we could give them a little teaser now of what energy, or just what can they expect when they watch for the first time.
We actually had our showcase yesterday, and the debut was by far the best we've ever had. The place erupted with energy, and I think more than anything, the reason why we do all of this showed through the kids. We had a stellar performance. It was super clean. And for November, I'm super proud of it. So we're really just wanting people to follow along with us this season, between our performances, through our show, through things like this. We're just wanting to really bring back the old school love for the sport that I feel like sometimes gets lost in all the accolades. And we don't do this for the accolades. We do this for the feeling and to bring hope to all the kids that want to be there one day. So if we can do those two things, then we win no matter what.
Thank you guys so much for being here today. I can't wait to follow you guys along for the rest of the season and into the next season to see what the next story is for you guys. It's so exciting.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Ava.
Yeah, thank you.